Diamondback is a B&M hypercoaster located at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. So let's dive into this layout. So first you go up the lift hill. Gives a nice view of Kings Island. Then you go down your first drop. All the B&M hyper drops are solid. You get some nice flutter airtime, especially in the back row. But all rows are pretty solid for the first drop on any B&M hypercoaster, especially this one. Then you go into a Camelback. It gives some nice floater airtime on this hill. And then you go into another Camelback. Again, some nice floater airtime. It's pretty good though. And into a couple more airtime hills that have some pretty good floater airtime, into a turnaround, which is pretty basic. Then you into an airtime hill. Gives some nice floater airtime. Really like the smaller hills better than the bigger hills. They just offer more airtime. And then you take a turn into the mid-course brake run. You do have a nice pop of airtime off in the back row off this drop, but in the front you don't really get anything off this drop. Then you go into another airtime hill. Offers some really good airtime if you're sitting in the back, but the front's not bad. Into another airtime hill. Gives a nice airtime in the front and back. Then you go into a helix that does absolutely nothing, but the drop off of it is pretty solid only if you're sitting in the very back row. And then the splashdown is pretty solid. And then you pop up into the brakes. So that's your ride on Diamondback. As for Diamondback's final score, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think this is the most perfect B&M hypercoaster out there. But the thing, deducting 1 point off of it, is the rattle on this coaster is really bad. It's one of the worst B&M rattles I've ever experienced. Like, whenever you hit the valleys, it's like really jackhammery. Not jackhammery, but you know what I mean by the very shaky rattle on this ride. So that will wrap it up for today's coaster review. Please follow for more great coaster content, and I'll see you all next time.